Welcome everybody to season 2, episode 1 of Couch Conversations, where we keep it raw and we keep it real, talking about uncovered and uncommon conversations. So y'all, I'm so glad God placed India on my heart to be my first guest, because one thing about India is she's the most honest person that I know. One thing about her, she's gonna keep it real whether you like it or not.
It is.
So she's the true definition of keeping it raw and real, and I had to let her be the first guest. Alright, so India, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey y'all, I'm India. I am currently in my last semester at Tuskegee. I am a dual major in math and mathematics education. So high school math teacher over here.
Period.
And I'm so happy to be here. This is my girl, so I was surprised and the vision is here. I'm ready.
Yes, so y'all, we're gonna dive right on in. So I just want to start off with a question. Mm-hmm. What do you think is the hardest thing to accept when you are told you're not graduating on time?
I think the why.
Okay.
Like, it's like, for me, it was because I needed like one more class, and I'm just like, why? Like, why? Like, why? Especially when you feel ready. Like,
yes.
A year ago, when I was a real senior, I guess, I felt ready. And so when I saw that curriculum balance sheet, they were like, May 2022, I said, why? Like, why? I've done what I was needed to do here. Why? Like, that was the hardest thing for me. And I'm still finding that answer. Yes. Honestly.
Yes. So I think for me, mine was that I let myself down, and that I let like my family down.
Yes.
And I think like going through that journey, like it also helped you to heal from being like a people pleaser. Because at the end of the day, like you're trying to please people, you know, or you just want to make your family happy and even yourself. And like it leads me to my next question for you. Did you ever feel like you was a failure?
Oh, of course. Like literally when I kind of like in the mix of that spring semester when I was supposed to graduate, I saw my friends getting there.
Yes.
And it's never like envy or like, oh my God, why them and not me? I'm always celebrating the people around me. Yes. But it's like, okay, my best friend is getting ready to go to grad school. My other friend, her internship turned into a full-time offer. My other friend, she's moving far away. This friend is getting a new home. This friend, and I'm just like, I gotta find another apartment at Auburn. I gotta find another student apartment. Yes. So it's just like, just looking around, I did feel like a failure amongst so much success. Like the success was beautiful, but it was like, okay, where's mine? And then it's like me telling my mom, like, I'm like, you know, Mom, I got another year, and she was never like, you know, my mom is like, you finish what God say you finish, and I'm like, that's not what I want to hear right now. I want to hear, you know, this is your time right now. So just seeing that success around me, it did make me feel like a failure. And there was a lot of times I would be like in my own apartment, in my room, just thinking like, what's next? Like, cause then you start questioning, was this really right? Exactly. Like if I didn't succeed at this the first time in 4 years and get everything I was supposed to do in 4 years, was this really what I was supposed to do all along? Like, why do I need that extra year? Exactly. But in the end, you know, there's a season for everything. God knows that. Like, and you gotta submit and let that go. Right.
And like when you were talking about the friends, like, you know, we some true people. We some real people, and we really root for our friends. But y'all know, like, when we make plans with our friends, like, we plan the future with our friends, like, you know, we gonna do this when we graduate. Everybody gonna be in there graduated, and we gonna go on a graduation trip. I think, like, even through that strengthened, like, humility. Like, you know, God's humility, like, you became really humble, having to, like, celebrate others when you felt like that's supposed to be your time as well.
And that's a beautiful thing to learn in itself. Like, not even just in this part, but in any part of life. Being able to celebrate others when it's not your turn yet.
That's it.
Like, that's such a hard thing to learn.
It is. And you know that post that be like, it's not always your season. Or like, it's not always your time. And like, that really like painting a picture. You know, some people like, oh, this is my time. Every week it's your time.
It's my time. Like, this next year is about to be my year. I'm coming up and all that. And it's like, you know, maybe it's not. Like,
exactly.
And that's okay. Like, that's okay to learn. Maybe it's not. But know that it won't always not be your time. Like, it's not right now, but sooner or later something is about to happen. Yes. The wait is like
worth it.
It's worth it.
The wait is worth it. Because it's like, when, you know, when I talk to my mama and stuff like that, you know, God got you here for a reason. And it was like, you were toughing it out with God, believing that He had you here for a reason, or kept you in college for a reason. Like, you be still toughing it out. Maybe it was days like you couldn't even feel like the reason, or you couldn't see the reason why God.
You didn't see,
you didn't see it, right? And I was early before we got here. I was talking to India, and I was telling her that, like, you know, my faith was strengthened, like my faith was firm, but it was like the trust in God. Like, do I really trust Him? Like, I have faith in God, but do I trust that He has a reason? You know,
do I trust that you're really about to show me this? That it's really about to happen? Like, my faith is saying yes, it will, but it's like, are you really about to, like, is something big really about to happen to me? Like, is this year really for something? Like, is this extra time? Was the no right now, like hearing no, was that no meaning that eventually I'm coming up to my yes? Like, that was a big thing for me to deal with, especially when at the time it felt like it was only me going through it. Like, I feel like in my friend group, I'm one of the last two here, and it's just like, none of y'all understand because y'all are living, you know, but dealing with that is the no right now. Is the no right now leading to a yes? That's really what I have to think about. Is the no leading to a yes?
Oh, wow.
And trust Him that He said yes, He's going to deliver that yes. That's hard.
You better preach.
You
better come through.
That's real though.
It's so real. Then it's like, I'm out here living for God, trying to live for God, trying to please God, and I'm here another year. Are you kidding me? Another year and a half. Are you kidding me?
That's really it. Like, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. That's when you feel like, that's when you really look at God and be like, now I'm doing everything you said, God. I'm doing everything you said. But what is next? Like, what's coming from it? What's coming from it? When you feel like you are already crossing your T's, you dotting your I's, and I still gotta wait. I just did all of this.
And then people is, you know, you see people that's not studying God, don't care nothing about God, yet it seems like they're getting blessed. It seems like they're getting, you know, the blessings that they've been praying for, the answers to their prayers, but they're not even fully committed. And I like how, like, you know, in Bible study we talk about that, and how, like, you know, the enemy gives too. The devil gives gifts too.
Yes, he does.
Like, they still have to work for that. Like, this stuff is not everlasting. Like the gifts God
is.
It's
fleeting.
Yep. So it's like, we have to remember that too. Like, the things God has for us takes time.
But it lasts forever.
Yes. So thank you, God, for taking your time.
Thank you, God, for saying, I'm not rushing you, God. Thank you so much. Because that's real. Like, you just look at, like, you on Instagram, social media is like really, you know, that's a whole nother battle. But you look on there and you like, they was just doing this and they getting this, like this. Is this the reward for, like, what is going on? Like, but I'm trying, okay? I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to live my best life for the Lord. And in return, I feel like it's just not, like, I know what's gonna happen. It's not happening as quick as them. They about to get in the car. They about to get that. This quick.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, timing. When you think about just God's timing, like, that the trust in his timing. That's really what it is. The trust in his timing.
That's good.
The trust in his timing.
That's good.
It's so hard.
And then just dropped in my spirit how like, what are you doing while you wait? You know, what are you doing while you wait for God to deliver the blessings that He has for you? Like, are you walking around in a pity party? You know, depressed, being negative towards other people, not even being happy for somebody. Like, God sees everything, but what are you doing when you wait? I feel like sometimes how you wait determines how quick the blessing comes. Like, what are you doing while you wait? Like, what are some tips? Like, well, what were you doing?
I was in a pity party for a long time because I just felt like it was me alone. Like, I just really felt alone. And so then I tried to put on other people, like, to make me feel better. Like, and we talked about this in prayer, I think, like, last week, like, trying to give people a God-sized problem. So I was feeling down because I was waiting, and I felt like there was nothing else I could do. So I would put on other people, like, make me feel better. You know, I'm looking at my friends to make me feel better. Or, you know, and trying to get that joy from them, when it's like, no, you got to go back to God, who's the source of joy. Ask Him for what you need to do in the wait. Because honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed to do. And that's the thing. People be like, oh, it's about what you do when you're in the wait. And then y'all are claim you're doing something in the wait, but you didn't even ask God, is this what you're supposed to be doing? So you think you're doing something right, but you're not asking Him. So I had to really look like, okay, what is supposed to be happening at this time? And it was really me just thinking about, what do I want to do when I graduate? Because I was stuck between a lot of still education, but a lot of different things happening down that path. And so it took for me to be like, okay, God, you want me to sit here? You want me to do my research? You want me to get stronger in you? So if that means I'm showing up better in Reckless, like I feel like over the past year, I feel like I've grown in Reckless a lot. Doing a lot of things that may not even necessarily have to do with me spending the extra year, but in my way, it's still preparing me for the person that I'm going to be after this year's up. So I was in a pity for a long time, but I think that tips would be, I guess, asking God what to do in the wait. Because things that we think are good and that's great for the kingdom or great for God, or I'm being a good Christian, that's not always specifically what He wants us to be doing. So asking Him what to do in the wait, and then knowing that you preparing in the wait may not have to do nothing with the problem. Like me getting closer and Reckless, like that's not necessarily connected to me having another class at Tuskegee. But it's strengthening me, my faith. It's strengthening me spiritually so that I can be ready for whatever's going to happen after this wait. Like, what's about to happen at this wait? Now I got Reckless behind me. I can, you know, we do everything after Reckless. But just thinking about what to do in the wait, asking God for that specifically. And knowing that it's ongoing. Like, though, even after you're done with the wait, like, even after I graduate, there's still work to be done. Like, the goal that you have in mind is one thing, but God is saying there's so much more for you. Like, I have you just think about this one little part. You are so focused on this one little part, and God is saying, I have a whole plethora of things for you to tap into. And you focus on that. You just focus on that. Like, just calm down. I got so much more. Just wait.
And then for me, I think, like, I'm not going to say, like, the period where you're mad at God. I say frustrated. Frustrated with God. So you go through that period of frustration, like, God, why? Asking Him why. Like, why did you do this? Like, I've been doing everything on me to do. And look at me. You know, left me. You feel like God left me.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Are you even hearing me?
Like, I feel like we went through that period. Like, our Bibles, and to be honest, Bibles closed. Not really even caring what God has to say, just being real at that moment. But, like, what they say, closed Bibles, closed doors, something like that.
Closed Bibles, closed doors. I like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
closed Bibles, closed doors. Okay. Closed Bibles,
closed doors.
And that's true.
Closed Bible. God trying to give you the tools you need to get through this journey, but your Bible closed. And
then you wonder why.
And you wonder
why.
Yeah.
We cut off God, and then we wonder why things start going bad. It's like, well, what about, and then we get mad again. Yes. It's like, you're not doing, okay, well, baby, go back to the source. What was the issue?
Go back to the source.
What was the issue? Go back to it. That's real.
Then, like, even with praying about it, okay, but I'm laying in the bed praying. I don't even know what I said at the end of my prayer because I went to sleep. So. And
that, you saying praying, that really just dropped to me. Like, in the way, when we pray in the way,
yes,
I was praying with an expected answer. That's real. I was praying, real life, I was praying with an expected answer. It's almost like I'm telling God in the prayer, like, baby, you're not even praying and asking anymore. You telling God, like, God, I need this to happen. I really need this. I would like this. Like, you're telling him all the desires of your heart. Yes, he'll grant that, but where is the prayer at? Where is asking him? Where is confessing to him? Where is telling him, like, okay, I know that you have all this power, God, so let me just put these requests in front of you. And if it's for me, if you deem it for me, then I want it. But no, I was praying with the expected answer, like, God, this is what I need. This is what I need. I'm telling you, Lord. Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. And he probably was sitting there looking at me like, child, please. Like, literally, you were just getting above yourself because that's taking away the purpose of the prayer.
Yes, it is.
And the purpose of praying in your way, like talking to him, building your relationship with him in your way, you have to have no expectancy in your heart. Nothing. You literally got to come to God like,
here I am, God. And then to like my auntie always says, be in expectancy. Like sometimes we don't have high expectations of what God can do. We got the bare minimum expectations, or we hoping for the worst. But we're not in expectancy for God to even meet our expectations. Our expectations aren't even high enough. So like raise your expectation to what God can do in your life. Like, what are you expecting God to do? If you're expecting God to make you stay back in school 12 more years.
I am so guilty of that. Literally, I'm so guilty of that. They told me so. This past semester in the fall, I needed a class to graduate, but I was the only person that would be in the class. So the university was not trying to have me in class. So I'm telling them, and they didn't have a teacher for it. So I'm telling them, please, I'm ready to go in May or whatever. They're like, no, you'll have to stay until December because the class will have like, I think 3 or 4 people in December. So I'm just like, all right. I had called my mom crying. I said, Mom, I gotta stay here till December now. She was like, you literally just went straight to the worst thing. What? Like, you didn't even. And my mom is very much like, we were raised on Christ, like great foundation in Christ. So she like, you literally called me crying. Went to the worst scenario. Do you not have any type of faith in God? Like any type of faith that what they just told you is not what he's gonna tell you.
Exactly.
So I'm definitely, and it all worked out for my favor. Like they found the teacher. I was the only student, but it worked out and I'm able to graduate. But at the time, it's like I had the lowest expectations. Like God could not reverse that thing.
I'm telling you.
And why do we do that?
I don't know. I just think when you being let down, like the feeling of being let down, we feel like God let us down. So we don't even, I'm not gonna say we don't care, but we're not putting it's a lot of energy towards, asking him to do things for us. Because we feel like we've been like, we hurt. I was hurting. And I had wrote down that, hurting. I was in pain. I had wrote down that God often uses our deepest pain as the launching pad of our greatest calling. There is purpose in pain. So I feel like with us staying here, it launched us. Like we begin to do some things for God. Like if you just think about it, like me just watching India, like I feel like God shifted you like in this season. And you're a long season too, because like your friends not here, my friends weren't here when I graduated. It's your alone season. Yeah. Like God began to pour things into us. Like he began to shift some things. Our faith had to get strengthened. Like it pushed us. Our pain pushed us to our purpose.
Yes, definitely. And just thinking of the growth. Like you just gotta step back. Like now I can step back and look and be like, okay, God was growing me. Because like me, Then you praise and worship leader what?
Right.
Never would have what?
Big praise and worship leader, y'all.
Okay. But that never would have thought that. Like I've always been a background choir member, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But in the way God was saying, like, okay, you're about to do some things after graduation that are going to call you to be a leader, and I'm like. Later. You know me, I'm like, what? Huh? To the front? Me? Little old me? Like, no, I like to be in the background. God was saying, no, put you up because that's where people, you have to be in the front for people to see me and you. That's what he was telling me. Literally, you got to go to the front. Nobody's going to see the God in me if I'm always in the back. If I'm always in the back, nobody's going to feel his presence with me. Nobody's going to interact with me. You got to go out there and push so that I'm pushing him out. Like, push him out. Yeah. That was hard.
Very.
The ground is hard. Pushing out is hard.
Yes.
But it worked for my good. Which you have to realize.
Yep.
Obedience. Yes.
Yes.
Obedience. The obedience. Hearing. First of all, hearing God. First of all, is already a thing. Yeah. And then hearing Him and following through in action.
Yeah.
Because it can a lot of times, and I'm guilty, go one ear and out the other, and I'm like. Yes, God, and I hear you, God, but I move this way and he's telling me to go left. So when hearing him and actually putting it into practice through action, that's when you start to see stuff.
That's it.
That is so crazy. Like, all he just asks is just, I'm telling you, he literally lays it out.
He be like, step up.
He would be like, step to the right. Go to the left.
He be like, no, step forward. But like my mama, you know, when she's saying the word for this year is push. I feel like, and we went through the pre-push, like the pre-push prepared us to actually push. Like he prepared us already to push, and we just be scared. Cause I just think about like how like if I would have gave up with my next, you know, staying here a little longer than expected. First of all, let me back up. Because that 4-year plan, let's go back to the title.
Let's go back to the title.
The 4-year plan, who ever said that it was going to take?
Who came up with that?
Who came up with it? Because I feel like that's discouragement all in itself. That I got to finish in 4 years.
It's pressure.
It's pressure.
It's literally it's telling you if you do not hit a deadline, you are unsuccessful. That's what goes through our minds all the time.
So that's why I feel like we feel like we're a failure because we didn't finish in the 4-year plan.
That's how everything is set up. That's how my scholarship is set up. Coming to Tuskegee. This is a 4-year scholarship. Why?
Like you don't know what could happen.
There's like such a low percentage of college students nationally, like across in the world, that graduate in 4 years. So why is everything? Why do we feel like we have to have it all together? And then if one little thing happens to knock us out of that, it's, oh my God, the world
end of the world.
I'm a failure. I'm unsuccessful. This was not my call. This was not what I'm supposed to do with my life. No, why? Then we sit down with our advisors, writing out a 4-year plan. And everybody, like, even in school, college is tough. College is hard. It's very hard.
Everybody can't do 18 credit hours.
Some people shouldn't. Nobody should.
You shouldn't. Some people only can do 12. Like, who came up with this? I need to sit down and talk with them.
And we follow it so carelessly. Yes. And it really harms, it really, like, when I think about that, it really puts a shackle on college students. Yeah. Especially, like, little freshman babies. Like, me as a freshman, I've always been a nerdy, love school and everything. But it's like, as a freshman, it's like, okay, I'm coming into a whole new thing. This is now college. Yeah. And I have to be on my P's and Q's. Yeah. Especially going to HBCU, you feel like, I really gotta be, I'm Black excellence. I gotta really be out this in 4 years and gone. Like, what?
This crazy. And then sometimes, even like when you're talking to people, you're ashamed to say that it took me more than 4 years. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Who came up? I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's the super senior. I'm quick to call myself
super senior.
I'm so quick to call myself a super senior, which is like, why? Why does it have a negative connotation?
Right. I'm a senior, period.
I'm a graduating senior right now.
That's it.
How long was I here? You don't need to know.
You do not need to know.
But I'm a graduate. May 7th, I'm out of here.
Out of here.
That's all you need to know. out of here. That's how you just know.
Out of here. And then like a lot just going in my head, but the embarrassment that you go through. Because I feel like the devil have you thinking, when you walk into that classroom, everybody is looking at you like everybody knows that you were here longer than expected. Nobody knows, and to be honest, nobody really cares.
They don't care. They're trying to get their education too.
Exactly, and they probably been here longer than you have. So it's crazy, like how the devil like be talking to you. I know plenty of times that I used to be scared, like to walk in the classroom because I just felt like people knew. Have you ever?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think now, because in this last year, like, you know, with COVID, I've been virtually. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's really, for me, it's like going to social events. Like, I feel like, okay, when I go to the cab now, I haven't been to the cab in a long time. But last semester, I went to the cab a lot. And I walk in, and they probably like, what, you supposed to leave when all your friends left? Like, you're T21, aren't you?
Somebody asked you.
I get that all the time. You're TU21, aren't you? Why does that matter?
Why?
I'm TU. That's all you know. I'm a Tuskegee University student.
But what are you asking for? Why? But the devil be using people.
Because they want to know the tea. They really want to know the tea. They really want to know the tea. Like on Instagram, people swipe up like, you still like Kiki?
No. I live on
You teach now? Where you work at? I'm a college student and I'm fine with it. The embarrassment is real, and I think that I don't know. I feel like it just ties into us just being reassured by God. Like once you feel His reassurance, you don't even care what people think. And it took me a long time to know. Like I always know that it's the trust again. Like you know something's gonna happen, but it's like okay. Well, people starting to look at me a little funny. Like, people starting to do this, like, you know, God, what's, you know, help us to stay out. Like, they over here talking about what year I graduate.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's going to happen.
Don't
be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. It's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to happen beautifully. I think that's the thing. Like, had I graduated in 2021 last May, it would have been a lot of things I missed out on because I'm such a different person from back then.
You are.
May 2021, I am so different.
Yep.
And I'm grateful.
Yes. And even though, you know, people were doing those things to you, like even that was just like preparation for like living for God. Like saying you love God with your chest. Like
not being scared.
Not being scared because you know even when you're trying to witness to people in the world, they're gonna do the same thing. But you already been prepared with people that you know. So it's like, okay, that ain't nothing. Let me go to the next person, see if they interested in God. So even in that it was preparation.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like because you've always been like a minister on campus and the ministry has been beautiful on campus, do you feel like your personal, like what you were dealing with in your weight was affecting like jaywalkers or anything on campus? What were you going through personally? Do you feel like it was affecting that?
I don't, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I feel like being around community was strengthening me, to be honest. God was showing me like, okay, your friends are gone, but you have family here. Like, you still have friends and family here, like on campus. So it just pushed me that I did have some people that I did know. Because like, I was like, okay, all my friends gone, I don't know nobody. I don't know nobody in classes, but like, doing jaywalkers at the time, like, you know, it was building community. So I feel like, and those people that I have met now are like the people for the journey.
Okay.
Like for real, like, and even in that, I was gonna say like, if I would have accepted what God had for me, I'm sure Reckless would have came, but He needed me here to be like, I don't know how to say it, like to actually walk it out and be here to recruit people, not recruit people, but bring them to Christ. Exactly. So I feel like I needed to be here to help push out.
I feel that.
Yeah.
It's definitely like you are definitely water to Regulus. Like Regulus is when I think of Regulus, I just think of a beautiful plant. Aww. Like we are always growing. We're always people are all, like if you see a pretty plant, you want to go up to it, smell it, touch it, all that. People are always coming to Regulus because it just exudes that energy. And so I feel like you being here is like water for our church. Like water. There's many of people that are in Reckless that are water to help it grow. And so I feel like God was like, no, Lacey, you got to stay here a little bit longer. This plant has to grow. I got plans for this plant. This plant is about to travel the world, it's about to branch out, and you got to be here for it. Yeah. And that's that probably in that moment you probably didn't see it, but look now. I'm like, okay, you could do this quicker. You could have did this. We always want something quicker. We always want to tell God, let's go. What's up that?
It's just like rushing a hamburger to be done. It's going to be half done.
It's going to be half done. You're going to get sick. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because when you rush God, you're going to end up with bad results, okay? And then you're going to be mad. Because he already told you what he had. The plans for you was always going to be real good. He already told you that. And so now you want to rush him, and then you're mad when it's not it doesn't have the energy, it doesn't have the same as what it was supposed to when it was at his time.
And then you sick, and then you got to start over.
You back at square one.
You back at square one. Then you got to put the ingredients back into the hamburger and start back cooking it again.
And I bet you're going to wait then.
I bet
so now it's longer. Now you pushed out longer. Yes. You're farther away from your date because you couldn't just be obedient.
And patient.
And I'm saying all this, and I'm still learning obedience. Obedience to God, I feel like it's just you wake up and every single day it is a choice that you have to make. Literally. And God gives us that choice.
That's it.
And so it's really, really important to be like, okay, look at every single decision. Is this what God has for me? Is this what is going to further me in Christ? At the end of the day, all I have is God.
That's it.
Like at the end of the day, I could be alone. And even when I'm alone, I'm surrounded by Him. So why every day? Why is my choices not so that I'm more surrounded by Him? So I feel that more.
Where are other choices?
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, you got two choices. You're gonna choose raggedy obedience, or you're gonna choose willing obedience.
Raggedy.
Because raggedy, I just think about like it's an old T-shirt. You know the old T-shirt you've been holding on to. They got holes in it and stuff, but you still
it's just in the drawer.
Don't want to throw it in the trash. It's in there. So like you wearing it with all these torn, these rips and all this type of stuff. You got spots on it, everything. You choose to continue to wear that, then wear a new shirt. You continue to want to hold on to this raggedy obedience instead of just choosing the willing obedience that has so much peace. It's all put together. Ain't none of your skin showing through the holes.
That's good.
But you want to be raggedy.
That's good.
But we want to be raggedy.
We want the raggedy T-shirt. And then think about when people see you, you got that raggedy obedience, that T-shirt on. They don't want to talk to you then. They don't want to see what God is about when you got that raggedy T-shirt on. When you got that new obedience on, they like, why are you walking like that? Why are you smelling like that?
Because I'm willingly.
Child, let me tell you. Willingly. Raggedy and willingly. That's good.
So which one? You want to be raggedy or you want to be willing to do what God has taught you to do?
That's good. Come on, Miss Lacey.
God, honey, God.
That's good.
Yes. So, were there any like financial blessings? Let's talk about the financial blessings.
Yeah.
So God, I'm telling y'all, when you're patient, even if you do finish college in the 4-year plan, clap it up for you. Because some people do. We're not downplaying people, but we're talking about our journey and what God took us on and how we felt going through the journey. And it wasn't all just bad things. God really showed out on our journey. So we're going to talk about the financial blessing testimonies that God, honey, did for us.
Okay. I came to Tuskegee because I had a full ride. So Tuskegee paid for all of my tuition and books. Well, I always got PBS. I just used the book voucher to get close.
Not to get close.
Okay, I just used the book voucher to get close to the bookstore. But so I had the full ride scholarship, the merit scholarship, and so like freshman year, I had scholarships to cover my room and board, so I was happy about that. And then sophomore, junior year, I became an RA, so that covered for my housing and my room and board too.
Yeah.
And so my last year, senior year, was COVID year, so we all went home. And then when I came back to do my 5th year, which I'm in now, they took away my scholarship. Tuskegee took away my scholarship, so I had no funding at all. And I appealed the scholarship, and I wrote them this whole letter like, hey, you know, I'm only in the extra year because I'm a dual major. Like, you know, I really need this. I graduate May, just 2 semesters. And all I need is tuition because I don't live on campus.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is give me my scholarship in 1 year. Like, you were already giving it to me for 4 years. And they said no. They denied me. And they said the decision was irreversible. So I'm crying. I'm calling my mom again. My mama is probably so tired of me calling her crying. So I'm like, girl, what are we gonna do? Because you ain't got no money and I ain't got no money, and fast food doesn't give us nothing. And so I had texted someone, I emailed someone in financial aid, and he was like, the best I can do is give you $4,000. And I was like,
now you know this tuition is expensive.
Okay, because my bill was like $13,000 or $14,000, I think. And I was like, well, I still don't got no $10,000, whatever. And so a group back home had gave me a couple thousand. And then I was like, I still had $5,000 left. That was my bill in the semester last year. Yeah. And I had my loan paper filled out. I'm going to give the loan because I'm like, right now I don't have that many loans. So I'm going to give him the loan paper. I actually gave it to him. I gave him the paper, and my mom called me. She said, what you doing? I said, I just gave him the loan paper. She said, no. I just found this man on campus. And he said he got a scholarship for you. And you know, my mama, you know, if you know a black mama, she will call everybody in the school. Okay? My mama has talked to Lily McNear before for me.
Really?
Literally, yes.
Period.
So she was calling up everybody. I said, who is this man? She said, he said that he walking on the ad with a Popeyes box and he about to meet you. So I looked out, I'm at financial aid. I saw a tall man walking down the ad with a Popeyes box. He ended up being like some big position at Tuskegee. I can't even remember.
Yeah. But
he was like, I'm gonna go in here and see if we got a position. Mind you, I had given him the loan paper, so I'm ready to leave. And he was like, here you go. And he came back out and handed me a paper, and it just said $0 for my bill. And I was like, what? I was like, what? And that goes with the low expectations. Why was I so ready to go and give them the loan paper? Like, I gave them the loan paper. Honestly, at that moment, I had no trust. No trust that God was about to pull out a miracle financially. I gave them the loan paper. I said, that's me saying, I don't know what God is about to do, but here, this is my decision to give you this.
Just in case he don't come through.
Just in case he don't come through. And why?
Why
is there a just in case?
God
He's not a just in case God.
Right.
No. He's never failed you. It's never been no fail-safe plan that you needed. No. And I was able to do that. And so looking back, I regret that, yes, but in that moment, like, that's why having people around you is so amazing. Because me having my mother, who was grounded in Christ, for her to remind me, you need to step back. He had this all along. He was ready to do that all along. So I'm thankful for the financial blessings, because I know throughout my whole experience at Tuskegee, it's only been God. Because at college, you can feel like it's a scam. And you can feel like, what is happening with my money? But every single time God has provided, I have never been without. God has always provided. And I'm so grateful.
And then I remember in that time, like, we were fasting.
Yes.
And you were praying, y'all.
Praying.
And we prayed that night right before that happened. Like,
and Pastor was like, it's already done. She was like, I just see something. And I still went. You got people around you telling me it's already done. God is preparing. I got people around me. And I still went to go give them the loan paper. Actively went. So eventually it comes down to you. Do you trust God or not? People around you can be fulfilling you, reassuring, all of that. But it's you. What are you going to do when the time comes?
And it's like, you know, like when they be saying, like, you got to have a relationship with God for yourself. Like, I can't have a relationship with you. You can't have a relationship for me, because when you hit rock bottom, like in those times, it's going to be you and God. There's nothing I can do. Like, I can pray for you, but if you don't believe, if you don't raise your expectations, then...
And at the end of the day, it's your relationship with Christ.
Your relationship with
Christ. To bless you.
That's it.
you have to look at him and be like, yes, God, I believe you. I receive whatever you have coming from me because I know it's a sure thing. It's always a sure thing with God.
This is. And I received some financial blessings.
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't told nobody. Nobody really know like my college journey. Like I feel like sometimes like people just think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Maybe because
I can see that.
Yeah, just being like Trump and everybody else and not.
That's why I told you we need more you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
need more.
But
you.
I just be trying to be there, you know, for other people. Like it's not all about me, you know.
But yes.
Yeah. But like,
this we wrote. Come on,
but,
tell us more.
So like, it was one semester.
Mm-hmm.
I only could take one class. One. It was a government issue, and like I didn't receive like no financial aid. I only could take one class. One. And this was the semester my class was graduating. So I ended up like, yeah, something for y'all, you know. Nobody really knew I wasn't gonna graduate, so I just was like, yeah. You know, it's the year. It's our year. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm in this one class. I think it was psychology, sociology, something. I'm like, okay, God, you got me here. I'm here for one class. I gotta come down here and do these Jaywalker Bible studies. I'm in one class. Are you kidding me? Like, no financial aid. So, around that, because I think I had to take summer classes or so. I can't really remember, you know, that good, but I had went to my advisor and I had told her. She was like, what? So she sent me to a man. And I went over there and he was like, what? Like nobody really understood the government issue, but it was a government issue what the man in the office was up there doing. It was an issue and I was the one who got it. And I'm like, okay, God, out of everybody. I mean, I don't want it to happen to nobody else.
But come on. Me? And I'm doing this?
But that's with that too.
Yeah.
You can't be like, God, I'm gonna do this, so you can give me this. You gotta make sure.
It's no favors. You cannot be looking for favors.
You can't be looking for favors. So I went there. He sent me to somebody else. So me and Brie, we just first started together. We were like, okay, we gonna go. Cause I'm finna go home. Because if God would've did this, he would've did it by now. Like I'm just being real, what I was saying. And we went to the car. She drove her to the car, and I drove mine. Cause she was standing on campus at the time. And so you know, got in the car, shed a little few tears, got myself together, then went to the other person. She called somebody else. They sent me back. And the man was like,
the runaround will get you too.
It's the runaround for me.
The runaround will get you too.
But you know what? I'll take the runaround just to get to the people God need me to be with. Because the man was in there, he was like, so tell me about your campus involvement. And I was telling him about Jaywalkers and how like it'd be a number of us coming out, how we went from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 4-bedroom apartment to bio, and I'm just telling him like how God did, because I never like got involved in like a lot of other stuff. God just really just called me to just for him, basically. So I got in there, he was talking, and he was like, okay, I just found some money, and I just put it on your account, so you good, you can go. I'm like, I'm what?
I'm sorry, what?
Cause I had called mom, you know, the first time when I went to the other person, but I got in the car and cried, and she was like, you need to go on, cause I'm like, I'm a type like, if you ain't gonna do it, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to give me the runaround, cause I'm just gonna go home. We're gonna figure it out.
Something's gonna happen, but if you're not doing it, I'm gone.
Yeah, I don't have time to be running around. It's like how she like, go on, you know, God do it for us all the time, so just go on. So I went on, and he said, I found some money. You squared away, you can go now. I'm like, are you serious? I'm in the are you serious?
Cause that's really what it feel like. Like for real.
Like, are you serious?
I just did all of this, but are you for real?
Are you for real? And he was like, yes. Like, what you still sitting here for? I said, because you don't understand. And I had just went on, shed a little tear. Y'all know I love to cry. If you want somebody to cry with you, I'll come and cry with you. But I was like, okay. So then that's how, you know, had to give me a little shot when I went out the little office. He was like, don't say no names.
Keep it, and that's what they are, and that's cool.
That's cool. That's cool with me.
That's very cool. That's
you an angel that came down and help save my life. So then come senior year, I done registered out for all my classes this spring semester. I only had like 3 more classes to do, but I had to do like 4. So the financial aid lady called me. She was like, did you submit your financial aid? And I was like, yes, ma'am. Well, it declined. You ain't got no more money. Like, that's how nasty like she was being to me. And so I'm a little sensitive person. So I just sat up in my bed. Because first of all, I was still asleep. You called me too early. So I sat up.
And then called with mess.
You called with mess. Like, she didn't even have no solution for me. So I was like, okay. Of course, call mama. She was like, don't have no money. And I said, yeah, they said I ran out of money. She was like, okay, you know, God gonna do it. She was like, God gonna do it, God gonna take care of it. So I'm sitting up there crying, and I'm like, I done made it to the end. And she said I got no money. I got 3 more classes, and she said I got no money. And if I'm ready to get this money by tomorrow. If I'm ready to get this money by tomorrow. But she called me back. I didn't call her. She said, money has been placed on your account. You don't owe anything. You're good to go. She said, is this your senior year? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, okay, well, money has been placed on your account. You're good to go. Tell me God ain't able. I'm telling y'all, all you have to do is be obedient. Trust. Trust in God. Trust in what He can do. Trust in what He will do for you. And God will make a way. I'm telling you. I had just got up out of bed and I had just started shouting because it be times where I feel like God forgot about me. And it's in those things. I like how he do things for me because He do things to people, each other. Like the way He bless you is different than what He bless me. Like it's in ways like that. Some people think it's like a unexpected check in the mail or you know, like somebody just bless you with a new car. It be ways like kind of. I'm not gonna say we're not forget. Like
and He just pop in.
And He just pop in. Here you go. Here you go. I'm like, okay, God, keep doing your thing for me. Yeah,
and that's real. And the quick change, like from how the enemy first called you early in the morning, and he was telling you no, like I'm here to destroy. You know, the enemy comes to destroy. For him to call you that early and be like, you don't have nothing, you done here. And then God, a few seconds later.
And then it's crazy because I was supposed to take a class, a really hard class, but God shifted it and we took like a really easy class, but it took the place of the hard class. Because I would have been there a whole nother year. But God said, it's time for her to go.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time. The deal is sealed.
And when it's time, can't nobody change that.
Nobody.
When God finally says it's time, nobody, they mama, they uncle, nobody can get in the way of that.
Not even you.
And I love that for us.
Yes.
I love that
I really do. I really do. And I was thinking how like, even with that, like the negative things people have said about us not graduating on time. Or even being funny, like, what's your career? Like, or what you doing?
Now, I love my friends. But it was one time, and if he watches, he's probably like, she talking about me. But there was one time my friend was like, he said something like, yeah, and what you doing right now? You about to go to the school, whatever. Or he had said something like about me actually wanting to be like a teacher. He was like, y'all ain't about to be doing that after you graduate. You still not gonna make no money. Y'all gonna be doing that. And I was just like, that really hurt. Like, I felt like that really hurt. Like,
it's a sensitive topic. Like, when you're going through it, like, even like now, I feel like, okay, in 2 more years, like,
just give me time.
Still don't bring me that disrespect because it's still disrespect.
Just give me time to think about what.
Because it's like, and even like this is about topic, but when God keeps me here longer, what He has for me is not even the degree that I have, like biology. It ain't got nothing to do with biology, but I have that under my belt. But I feel like he called me to something else. So if I wasn't here long enough for Him to allow Him to speak to me in the way that He did, then I wouldn't even knew that that's the route that He wanted to take me in. Like I had time to see clearly what He wanted me to do.
And everybody doesn't get that because there are a lot of people who took no matter how many years it took, there's a lot of people who may have graduated in 4 years, may have graduated in 5, but what they're doing right now, they're not satisfied, they're not happy.
Exactly.
And they don't know that is not what God has for them. And so the fact that He blessed you with that time, that's why it's all, and you probably had to, it probably wasn't easy to get there. You probably had to go to Him and be like, yo, what's up? Like, what's happening right now? So the fact that we can, first of all, I'm just thankful that we can go That we have a God that we can go to and He answers and He makes things clear. Not sometimes, not always clear, but eventually He reveals things to us. Like, and that's beautiful to me, because if we just out here driving blind, Lord,
figuring it out.
But honestly, like, I haven't had anyone like say negative things, but it's in that aspect where people just ask you like, you know, when you graduate, like, what's happening with you now, or what's next? I hate getting the what's next answer.
I don't know, and you don't even.
I don't know. And if you did know, how would that change your life? Knowing about mine, I don't know. But regardless, I know that what's next is of God, because I'm making it that way. I'm shaping my life, which, like, personally right now I'm really like trying to shape my life to where whatever is next of me, I know is of God, because I want to be happy. Like, at this point,
you done did it your way.
I did it my way. I have tried. I have done it my way, and I'm just like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so many other things, but it's really just because you're just not living how God is telling you to live. You're not living His will. You're not even trying to.
Yeah.
And so because I wasn't living bad, like, I wasn't doing bad stuff, but I was just like, I'm following India's path, because I think India knows what India needs.
That's good.
But do
you? And I was sitting here thinking, I was just like, I'd rather be happy and not knowing what's next than struggling trying to force what's next. This what's not even for you. Like, that's not even what God wants you to do. But you forcing it to be.
That's real.
You're forcing it to be God's will for you.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Happy and not knowing what's next, but knowing that it's of God.
That's it. And knowing all I gotta be is obedient, honey, and God is gonna take care of me. Because I'm believing Him to wash out every loan.
And being ready for when He says, like, that's why we talk. I feel like people talk about that so much. Like, you talk about you want this, but are you getting ready?
Are you getting ready? Are you getting
like
ready?
You want to graduate so bad, but after you graduate, are you gonna be ready for what God's about to ask of you? That's hard. Because after May 7th, and even before May 7th, tomorrow God could ask something to me. But am I ready?
Are you ready?
I don't know.
Sheesh. You're going to be ready.
I'm ready to be obedient.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm specifically ready for what He says, okay, this is what I want. But I'm ready to be obedient.
Me too.
But that's hard. Like, we talk so much. We talk such a big game. God, we want God to rush. Yeah. And then what if He does give it to us? You're going to fumble the bag. Because you are not ready. Let's talk about fumbling the blessing. Fumbling the blessing. Because are you going to be ready?
Take up an offering.
You want it so bad, but are you going to be ready? That's real.
Are you going to be ready? No. No. Because why do you think that you deserve it? Number one. What have you done to deserve it?
Before He says so.
Right.
Why do you think you need it right now?
And are you even going to be obedient to God when you get it? Or you just, God, give me this, I did this for a minute, then I'm going to drop it. But I got what I want.
And after you get it, are you going to keep God in your life? Like, sometimes we get the blessing and be like, I'm up now.
That's it.
I don't need nothing else, God.
I'll be back. I'll be back in 6 months.
I'll be back when I need you. And it's like, what? What? He probably looking like, God probably be looking at us with the most craziest faces.
I know He do.
I feel like,
Look at my child out there being foolish.
Look at her. Look at her running around out there.
Look at her. That's crazy.
That's real though.
It is real.
That's so real. The trust, the obedience, the trust, the preparation,
the faith.
Like, that's all in one thing.
It is.
And it's crazy because people don't understand, like, when you really, really, really decide that I want to give my life to Christ, that's daily.
Daily.
That's daily. That's every minute, every second that you are literally combining all these things to say yes.
This is fresh yes.
A fresh yes. I've been telling everybody that. I've been telling my family a fresh yes.
Yes.
That's real.
For real. It's all combined in one. Because you don't know what you're going to do to make me.
You don't know.
My God.
But God is such a God. He's such a great God.
Yes.
To where you're okay.
Yes.
Like, you are good. Yes. If you are waiting, if you have an extra year, that is okay. Like,
it's okay.
That is
Breathe.
okay.
You got time. Some people don't have time.
Take this to dive deeper into Him. Know Him more. Take up a hobby. Strengthen things in you. Like,
Yes.
there's so many things that you can do with time.
Yes.
Because we always say, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time.
Exactly.
And then when God gives us time, we be like, okay, God, this too much time.
That's it. We're trying to like make ourselves busy. Like real busy.
Yeah.
To not allow what we're going through to hit. Like I think sometimes we don't allow ourselves to feel like what we're going through.
Very much true.
Like we try to do other things to not feel.
Mm-hmm. That was definitely me. Like when my senior year was COVID year, so like that fall, that's when I realized I was gonna be here another year.
Mm-hmm.
So fall 2019 is when I realized I was gonna be another year in 2022.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just throw myself into other things. I was not letting it fully sit in. So I started into fit. I'm doing all this stuff. I want to do this at school. I want to do this at home. I'm doing all this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, just hit me. Like once we had really got back into coming back down to campus and I moved back down here, it was like, ooh.
Exactly.
Child. Now I'm alone.
Yep.
And now I'm really thinking like, what is going on in my life?
Yes.
What is going on in my life?
It's crazy. Yeah. Feel.
You gotta
So
feel.
you can get through. And let the feelings of when you see your friends posting their houses and job opportunities. Feel like you're not jealous.
Mm-hmm.
You just like, dang, we're supposed to be doing this at the same time.
Yep.
Like, allow yourself to feel.
I call my friends like, what y'all doing for spring break? They like, spring break, I work. I'll be like, my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, it's just little things that remind you you're in a different place.
That's it.
And that can weaken, not weaken, but it can sadden you.
For real.
And you feel like you're not strong enough.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Like, I felt like, okay, I'm in a different place, so maybe I'm not strong enough to complete this at all.
Mm-hmm.
If people around me could do it, maybe I'm just not. It's not what I was here for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I wouldn't even be here had God not said it. You wouldn't even be wherever you are right now. It's because God put you here.
So do what He has told you to do in that moment. Be obedient. And I was thinking, like, through this whole journey, like, it just makes me, like, have my thank you God on a whole nother level. Like, I just be thanking God. Like, even when I pray, sometimes I don't even tell God what I want. I just be like, God, thank you. God, thank you for putting me through. Because I think this is one of the, like, toughest seasons of my life. Before graduating, like, that was very tough for me. So I just be like, thank you, God. If you don't do nothing else, God, you have done enough. You have done enough.
You've done enough.
You've done enough for me.
And the crazy part is He's still gonna do more.
Yes.
Like when I think about, we have so many years to live.
Yes.
We got so many more moments to bless us.
Do your thing, God.
Do your thing. Okay. I ain't mad at you.
Ain't mad at
I
you.
ain't mad at you. Good thing.
Yes. So one last question before we close out. How have you kept yourself encouraged? Or what are ways that you would tell somebody who's going through the same thing?
I think that just being around people. I'm a very social person. Like, I love to talk. I love to keep it real.
Yeah,
you know.
literally.
I keep it real, okay? But being around people and specific people, like, I don't just open up to everybody. I don't just talk to everybody. Like, there are specific people that I know God has told me, like, that's the person you want in your life.
Yeah.
And I find that through my church. I find that through Reckless. I find that through my family. I find that through my trusted friends that I've gained from Tuskegee. Like,
yeah.
I'm a people person, so for me, it's always the love around me that keeps me encouraged.
Yeah.
And then just, like, find something that I think growing like in your gifts with God will grow you to Him as well. Like I've grown in like how I worship Him in music. So I stay encouraged through music, through my worship. I stay encouraged, like just growing deeper in Him is really how I stay encouraged. And just knowing that it's gonna all be okay.
Yes.
Like truly believing that. That's really hard because we always say it's gonna be okay. And in the back of our minds we be like, oh no, struggling. But truly believe God is going to work it out.
Yes, He is.
Like, has He ever failed you? And my friend just texted me, like, she had texted me, I think it was when Derek had passed. She had texted me and she was like, you know, this is a season, but you've gotten through 100% of your worst days already.
Yes.
And it'll be a time where you look back and you again have gotten through 100% of your worst days.
Yes.
And just know that God was doing that the whole time. So truly believing it's going to work out. I truly believe that now.
Yeah.
I don't worry.
Your faith is strengthened.
Faith is strengthened. I used to be a worrier. I'm a big worrier. But I'm releasing that now.
Amen.
I'm releasing it.
It's so good
I'm releasing
to say it out. Like, when you think about that, but to say it out. Yeah.
Release it.
Yeah. And I would say for me, staying encouraged is finding community and finding your way to communicate with God as well. Like, your own unique way to communicate with God. Because, like, if I'm having a bad day, I'd be like, God, in one of them days now, why did you choose this journey for me? Like, just being real. Because God will speak back to you, like, how you need Him to speak back to you. So, that, finding community, my real close family, they're my dogs for life. Like, you mess with them, honey, you gonna have to tussle.
Okay.
That, find the things you love. Like, things you got to do. Like, with me, I love to decorate. Like, just finding, like, the goodness in everything. I love to decorate.
Yes.
Make people look fly.
Period. Let's get
into it. But yeah, what else? Keep staying encouraged. It's community is number one.
Yeah, community is number one for me.
Number one. That's what I would say. And staying in your word. Especially like, even like now, like I'm out of the journey like with graduating late. Like, you know, it's not over, but that season is over, right?
It gave it is good.
Yeah, but like you still can feel like you're still going through it, if that makes sense, because you don't necessarily you haven't started your career yet, so it's like the aftermath. I would say you're going through the aftermath.
It's the wait in between.
Exactly. Yeah. So now, like, I sit down. I love to journal. I've always been a journaler. So like now I do the little posts. And with my little notebook, I be writing in like encouragement. It's stuff like that keeps me going. So I would say just find your language with God, like your love language with God. I would say, and with God, anything is possible. Like, if you got God,
anything,
you're squared away. Like, you got it.
You literally have everything you will ever need.
That's it.
Everything is all in Him.
That's it. All wrapped up in God.
I think also another, and I meant to bring this up earlier. Another way I stay encouraged is knowing that your journey is not just yours. Yeah. Like we just said that, like, you know, my relationship with God is only mine. You can't do it for me. But our path is connected to somebody else's path. Like, the way you moving today, that could be deliverance for somebody in 3 days. Like, you know, so me knowing that it's not always about India, that keeps me encouraged, because I know I can't give up on God right now, because somebody out there could be me tomorrow and they need to see that in me to help them keep going. So that keeps me encouraged as well, because I know for a fact that I am tied to other people's walk, other people's deliverance, other people's happiness, purpose. So that keeps me encouraged. Like, India, don't give up now. You don't want them to give up. You don't even know who yet. Like, I don't even know who I may touch yet, or may touch me.
Exactly.
Somebody could be willing to touch me, but if I give up now, I missed out on that. So knowing that all of us are connected in God, we're all His children, we're all related. So that keeps me encouraged.
You gotta make it do. You cannot give up.
You cannot give up. You got to.
Oh my God.
For the sake of everybody around you, you got to.
You got to. So I truly enjoyed leaving it all out on the couch today, honey.
This was a great conversation.
Yeah, it's like to actually get it out, like all your feelings. Like, I'm so glad God put you on my heart to do this with me. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I love you so much.
I love you too.
Yeah, this is just beautiful. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. So I pray the things we talked about today have touched somebody's heart. If you ever need us, we are a social media tap away. You can follow India on Instagram.
Yes.
You tell them your socials.
It is at 5_ Indy INDY love _ Indy love.
Okay. And I also leave them in the description box below. Y'all don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the Couch Conversations with a friend and family. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you on episode 2. Love y'all.